When was the last time you heard about a great discovery? Discovery in the sense not like experimental results or what we see with NASA going into the other planets or discovering something, whether ocean is there or not, a type of rocks on the Mars, not like that. The discovery is like a theoretical discovery, like a great theory. When was that last time you heard about a great theory, a new theory? Probably not. I don't think you remember anything in recent times. So the question is, why don't we see great discoveries anymore? So, does that mean like because we are not seeing any discoveries, does that mean like did we reach the end of the science? I don't think anybody agrees that like we really reached the end of the science because there are so many unsolved puzzles still out there. Like unification of physical force is still to be achieved. That's a pending thing. The common, widely agreed unification theory is not yet available. So, and also about the theory of evolution, was that all settled? Like we know, like natural selection and then genetic drift and everything. So the species evolved from a previous generation, slowly drift away from that ancient species. So is that all to the theory of evolution, or is there anything else? Let's look at it. So evolution of species can be, we can summarize this way, like there is a multicellular body, and then from that like species evolve either through natural selection or genetic drift. So from this one singular body, a species one and then species two evolved from that. So keeping this aside, when I was actually researching on a particular subject, I was interested in finding why alligator has a unidirectional lungs. I, I, I read an article. I was surprised to learn that it has a unidirectional lung. Like humans, we have bidirectional lungs. So the same air goes one way and then comes up back in the same lung, in the same pathway. So this is a bidirectional lung we have. And then, but alligators and crocodiles, they have unidirectional lung. Like inside, air goes in a loop and then comes back to trachea and then comes out. So that's a unidirectional loop inside the body. Why it has that kind of lungs? So I was trying to investigate that, and then what I ended up finding is I gathered the data of different species, and then I was looking for respiratory systems, how they breathe in different species. And but to my surprise, instead of solving that issue, I found a different pattern. The pattern is like if you see cow, elephant, and bat and lion, they have teeth. Using those teeth, they chew the food into small pieces and then digest the food. So this, all these, all these species, whatever chewing the food and ingesting small amounts of small pieces of food, they ended up having a gestation. And then whatever the species that have no teeth, but they ingest like a whole snakes, like a snakes eat just snakes or frogs, whatever whole body they just swallow. And then crocodiles eat like a large chunks of meat. So these are all, even the platypus, they don't have teeth, so they just like a duck like a bill, and then they just take the insects as a whole. So that's why, because when they are taking um, uh, large pieces of food, they ended up having a egg laying. So I explored what is the reason for this, and then what I found is, in my research, is chewing the food breaks it into small pieces that requires less amount of gastrointestinal acids. Limited usage of the acid generates less amount of internal heat, making it conducive for gestation. So what happens, chewing is enabling the food to break into small pieces. So whatever the stomach is supposed to do, the teeth are doing. Teeth are breaking the food into small pieces, and then when it goes into stomach, the acids, less potent acids are there, requires for that food to be broken down to get absorbed into the body. When you look at the other way, so ingestion of large pieces results in the excess amount of heat in the digestive system. When strong acids gets generated to digest the food, concentrated acids, and then that results in generation of heat. Whenever something breaks down, that generates heat, and that heat, when because the stomach is closer to the uterus, so that heat affects the uterus. That's why those species adapted to egg laying. That's what I kind of found the reason why the difference between having teeth and not having teeth. So from this research, it is evident that not only the natural selection and genetic drift concepts of theory of evolution, but the foraging, hunting, and dietary habits of species also influence the evolution. So that's what I came to a conclusion. So in fact, those dietary habits could be the biggest influencer of evolution. So we know this natural selection and genetic drift. Apart from even from these two, I think dietary habits might have the biggest impact on the evolution. When you look at the this figure where multicellular body turns into one way into species one and another way into species two, natural selection and genetic drift. The other one is dietary habits. They also influence the evolution of this species. And then what happens when this species start eating at some point, these branches started eating one another. This one gets this is the prey and this is the predator. So that way, this started eating whole body or large chunks. So that ended up this species ended up as egg laying, and this species continued as probably as a gestation with a gestation. So this article I wrote in 2018 and revised in February of 2019 and published in peer-reviewed preprints and Wixera preprints. ResearchGate. Later on, I copied onto the ResearchGate.net and academia.edu as well. So this is the link. If you want to look at that, you can look at that article. And so so why I am bringing up this issue is there are many significant discoveries in the public domain. Not only my discovery, there are many others. Why you haven't heard about them so far? So why it's not being discussed, not cited, not used to for the benefit of the society? The main reason is the current drawbacks in the publishing the research findings. So the other is measuring the theoretical research based on the flawed fundamental concepts. So what those concepts I will explore further in the series. This is a series I'm starting with this introduction. So publishing the research is not an easy task. Need to go through many cycles of rejection and submission to different journals in different formats. Research itself takes a lot of time, and going through the submission cycle is not possible for somebody who doesn't make living by doing research. So that needs to change. research should be accepted and from any corner, and it should be accepted wherever it's published, not necessarily the journals. Most of the journals look for experimental data to support the theory. So major leap in science occurs through bold thinking, not through experiments. See, you not everything you can experimentally prove it. The thought goes before the experiment. So you need to somebody, if you think big and proposes something exceptional, that might get proved down the road, maybe after 50 years or something. But that doesn't mean that you can't publish that kind of articles. So nowadays, those kind of articles no place in these kind of journals. So there are less number of journals to publish theoretical hypothesis articles. A theoretical or hypothesis article, if you try to publish, there are not many journals accepted, and even most of the scientific community treats those kind of journals as insignificant for the reasons I'm not aware of. Even some preprint servers selectively accept the articles. Even when you try to post a instead of publishing, you try to post the article on a preprint server, some of them won't even accept it. You need a kind of recommendation to post in those. So these kind of restrictions holding us back in thinking big. And so that's what my idea for the starting the series is to see what we can do to make science more accessible for everybody to publish their research. So there are more reasons to why I started this series. Over 20 years ago, I published my work on the plate tectonics and Manvantara cycles. In the year 2000, I published the book Gravity from a New Angle, wrote many articles after that book. A whole lot of effort goes into the research. When your findings are correct, then you need to make sure that those results come to fruition. So it's my responsibility. I did the research, I found some new thing, and it's my responsibility to communicate to the society to make sure that gets absorbed in the scientific world. Some research findings are immensely valuable to the society. Timely awareness of those findings is very important. So that's why I am taking my own responsibility to educate the society on my research findings. This series is to make sure the research findings gets their share of recognition no matter where they are published. So there is a lot to be discovered further. Only the environment is not conducive to report the research findings. This series will explore why are we missing to see more of the scientific advancements and what needs to be done to fix it. So there's no science with there's no end, like science is not ending anytime soon. So but only thing is there are discoveries, there is possibility to discover more, but the environment is not conducive. That's what I'm trying to say in this introductory part. So what I'm calling this series is what is ailing the science. That's what I'm calling the series, and this is just an introduction. My name is Karnakar Marsakatla. Today is April 26th, 2024. And what will I cover in this series is few of my discoveries in detail, what I discovered in previous my book, and then my previous discoveries, starting with the one briefly discussed in this introduction. The one with about gestation, egg laying, the dietary habits has major influence on the evolution. So that one, I pick up that one and then discuss it more clearly in the next video. So and also what I do is I find out what the drawbacks in publishing the research results and whatever like journals or preprints. So what are the drawbacks if somebody wants to publish a research results, what are the difficulties they are facing. So those points I will cover later, and then at the end I'll propose an ideal environment to publish the research papers? What could be the ideal environment to group everybody, pull in everybody, academic circles as well as non-academic circles, so everybody could publish their research, and then there should be an open publication and open discussion on the research. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So this series is this is just an introduction. Thank you very much.